All right. So this is going to be recorded. So everyone's aware this is going to be recorded for perpetuity purposes. All right. So those of you who don't know me, I'm Zelpha Anderson, fellow mentor. So we're just going to go through real quick how to write effective job posts. I guess I do well at it because they asked me to give this training, but I am by no stretch of the imagination am I a complete expert. So if you have ideas and stuff that you think are helpful are helpful to you as well, please feel free to chime in. This is interactive. I'm not gonna death by PowerPoint you. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them as I'm going through the slides.
Move.
All right. Give me 1 second, sorry.
No, Zelpha, I did
Yes.
I did write one job post, but I didn't put it up a while back. Melanie sent me some instructions about what should be in it and all that, and so I just recently made one up with everything I thought I wanted in it.
Okay.
And I'm supposed to forward it on to her to get approved.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did at the beginning of this week, and I haven't heard back from her.
Did you
And
follow up with her?
no, I guess I have to. She might be.
You
She
send it
might
to
be.
your sponsor.
She might be.
There she is right there. Hi, Melanie.
Hi.
Oh, your sponsor approves them. Okay.
Send them to Kylie.
Oh, Kylie. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I sent it to the wrong person then.
It is all good. All right. So what we're going to talk about this afternoon is why is it important to write a good job post? What is a job post and the difference between it and a job description? Some quick fun facts that you may or may not have known about writing job posts. 5 steps for success. Then we're going to go into do's or don'ts, briefly touch on artificial intelligence, and then any questions you have at the end, we can do a question and answer session. So why does this matter? So the first and foremost is that it helps you stand out, right? When you write well-written job posts, it makes your opportunity look more attractive. There's thousands, as you all know, of job posts on a lot of these job boards and these sites. So you want to make sure that yours stands out so that people are coming and are attracted to the job post that you are posting. It's also their first introduction to you and their first introduction to the opportunity. When you write a good job post, some of the questions that applicants may have can be answered within that job post so that it prevents the back and forth between you and the other person. And then it really could just be the difference between attracting whoever, Joe Blow on the streets, or an actually qualified candidate that you want to be able to take advantage of this opportunity. So what is a job post? The easiest way to think of it is a job advertisement. At minimum, it should describe the opportunity, the benefits and the perks, kind of make it appealing for someone to want to come and say, hey, well, let me see what this is about. The difference between a job post and a job description is a detailed write-up of the responsibilities and expectations of the position or the opportunity. Should always include duties and requirements. So like for us, you have to be required to work in the US or Mexico. You have to be 18. So those are the things that you really want to make sure that you're including. And you can use an existing job post as a starting point, but then kind of massage it and update it so that it's fresh and relevant. A job post is intended to market to the opportunity, right? You want it to attract qualified folks. You want it to attract folks that are serious about opening a travel agency or starting a business opportunity. You can share it on the social media platforms, on the internet, websites, wherever, and it includes the job description, but it also includes a lot more information, like what do you have to do to qualify, information about, if there's benefits or perks or anything like that, something that will entice the applicant or the person looking at your job post to want to find out more information. So did you know job posts with 300 words or less get 17.8, almost 18% more applicants than job posts that are 450 to 600 words. more than 50% of job views, especially in 2023, right, are on the phone. People are on their tablets, they're on their mobile phones, they're looking at their stuff on the go, right? No one's sitting in front of a computer that much anymore. Casual job descriptions, ones that are not that they have to be super formal, but ones that are too casual, usually have less interest in those job posts. And then, especially in 2023, with everything being inclusive, you have to be very mindful of the words that you're using. So you want to use gender neutral words and inclusive words because those attract greater diversity in the folks that are looking at your job post. All right, so 5 steps for success. Step 1, you want to do something catchy, right? Potentially. Ours is a little bit different depending on where you're posting, but you want it to be clear, you want it to be concise, and if you can, make it creative. Work from home, this is the feedback that Kristen has shared with me. Work from home in the title has greater success than remote. So if you want to do like work from home booking agent or reservation specialist or something like that. Anything with work from home, you want to, not remote is not a bad word, but folks tend to respond a little bit better to the actual phrase work from home than remote. And then use synonyms for travel agent, booking agent, reservation specialist. Just get kind of creative. We were talking about ChatGPT before we started the presentation. You can use that to kind of get ideas of different titles for it. You can also use the internet. You could do a quick Google search if you're more comfortable with that. But a creative, catchy title will kind of attract attention initially for the folks that are looking at your job. And then introduce yourself. A brief summary of what you're looking for, what it is that you do. It doesn't have to be elaborate. A sentence or 2 is fine. Just kind of an introduction about what it is we do and why we're looking for them to join, right? And then you're going to write the job description. I think bulletizing, because sometimes if you have too many words, it gets overwhelming. So how you frame the job post is super important. So bulletize the responsibilities and the requirements. You want to get the candidates excited. You want to do creative language. You don't want it to be boring. But remember the length. So the longer job post don't get as many candidates as the more concise ones. And then spell out the top perks or the top benefits, right? Folks that are looking at your job post are they're comparing you against others that they have seen. So you want to make sure that it's enticing. You want to make sure that what the way that you describe the perks excites people, right? Like we have our flexible work hours, the travel certification, the ongoing travel opportunities, particularly not having any experience, and we'll show you that's enticing for folks that are just getting into the market or may not have any experience in the travel industry, don't know anything about it. They could kind of be like, oh, I don't know anything about that. I shouldn't apply. I'm not qualified. By pointing those kinds of things out, we'll encourage them to apply more. And just kind of like, okay, well, maybe let me sign up and see what this opportunity is really about. So spelling out the flexibilities that we have, the perks that we go through when we do the travel presentations, you can include some of those in your job post. Just want to make it a little bit more enticing for folks and kind of set it apart from the others. And then reread and edit. I cannot, both in my travel agent career and my professional, like my other career, I cannot tell you how much I will completely dismiss something if I see misspelled words, no punctuation or mispunctuation. Like, it's a trigger for me. I don't know how it is for a lot of other people, but the last thing you want to do is have potential candidates look at your job post, because for me, that immediately tells me that you have a lack of attention to detail. So first impressions matter, right? So if you put something out there and it's misspelled, or you don't have any punctuation or the capital, whatever it is, whatever the grammar or the edit is, you want to make sure that you're really taking a close look at what you're posting before you send it up. Make sure you always reread it. If it's helpful, have someone else look at it before you send it. And then I put Kristen and Melanie, but that's an update. Your mentor will approve your post, have to approve your post before you go ahead and post it out there. So make sure that before you send it to them, you've crossed all your T's, you've dotted all your I's. Like I said, if it's helpful to have someone else take a look at it, please feel free to do that, and then send that on to your mentor, and they will approve it for you and let you know you're ready to go. So make sure your job title is accurate and specific. Once again, use those gender neutral pronouns and inclusive language. Reread it to ensure that it reads well and that it's free of errors. Check grammar, format, spacing, bullets, punctuation, everything. Once again, make sure your mentor has approved it prior to you posting it, and refresh your jobs periodically. You don't want to use the same job post every single time you post. You can use it as a starting point for a new one, but make sure you're getting in there. You're changing the language, maybe you use a different title, maybe you shorten it, maybe you describe something different, but don't use the same job post over and over and over again, because it gets stale, right? And then what I did when I started, I Googled high populous cities to kind of get an idea. You don't have to post it where you live. Like, I live in Stafford, Virginia. Nobody lives out here. But I'm not posting in Stafford, Virginia, right? I'm posting in Dallas, Texas, Los Angeles, California, Miami, Florida. I would Google high populated cities and states potentially, and then use that as kind of like a launching pad for cities that you may want to post in, so that you get a higher response rate from your potential agents. Do not post the same job post or in the same location every single time. You want to keep it fresh. You want to make sure your job posts are in different locations. You can repeat locations after a few iterations, but don't post every single post to the same location, and don't use the same job post. Don't be dishonest about the position or the requirements. If you're dishonest and they ask you a question and they find out that you're not telling the truth, that's going to immediately turn them off, and you've just lost a prospect. Do not falsely list any of the benefits or the perks. Once again, don't post a job listing with grammar errors. Don't post one that's too difficult to read. If I can't follow it in the first 3 sentences, I've already disengaged and I'm moving on to the next post. So make sure that your job post is a little easier to read. And then once again, do not post without getting prior approval from your mentor. All right, so to AI or not to AI, we had a few conversations. We had a little short conversation about this in the beginning, but I have used ChatGPT before to when I post on Instagram to get like creative tags for a certain location, or if I'm trying to refresh my job post, I will post my job post in there and say, can you refresh this? I don't copy and paste what ChatGPT gives me. I think that's just kind of not wise. But it helps me kind of jumpstart how I'm thinking about how I'm writing my job posts. So the whatever, if you choose to use AI, use that as a launching pad, but don't just copy and paste it without reviewing it first, right? Make sure you're looking it over. It reads in your voice. Make sure that what it says makes sense. It's accurate. But it can be a tool to help you kind of get your brainstorming started to kind of refresh your post as you need to. It does have some limitations. Some of the data is not as up to date as it potentially could be, depending on what AI you use. Sometimes there is not that inclusive or that gender neutral language. So once again, make sure you're rereading what you've posted in that regard. And then there's no emotion behind what it posts. It's really just facts, or it's really just whatever the computer spits out. So if you're trying to add a sense of humanity, if you will, to the job post that you are posting, you may have to infuse that yourself after it spits out whatever it responds to the question that you may have asked. It can help you write more effectively because it gives you a different perspective of how something could be written. Once again, starting that brainstorming for you so that you can kind of start thinking about things a little differently, and potentially doing your job posts a little different or using different language. And then once again, always review what it spits out before you just copy and paste it. You don't want to, I don't know how I don't know if AI Chat GPT or any of the other ones, if they do like plagiarism checks. I don't use it for that, so I'm not really sure. But you don't want to. What you don't want is to copy and paste someone else's stuff. So you want to make sure you're looking at it. You're making your updates. You're changing your language. You're making it in your voice, so that it's truly a product that you got help with it, but it's really your own job post. Does anyone have any questions for me? I know that was really short and quick. I talk fast sometimes. Does anyone have any questions, or does anyone have any things that worked well for you potentially in the job post that you're writing?
I have, excuse me, I have a question about should we, in terms of being honest or forthcoming, maybe, should we add the 1099 part to the post so that they know, or is that potentially a turnoff before the presentation?
I don't, because for a lot of folks it is a turnoff.
Okay.
And they may discount it before they even have an opportunity to hear what the position is about. But Melanie, you may have a different perspective.
I would not put it on there because that's a really easy way to start getting kicked off of job boards or social media or different things like that, just because they have weird ideas of what that is, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I don't put it on mine.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
put it on mine either.
So will it be better to just say commission based instead of 1099?
I don't even mention it, actually. I don't mention commission or W-2 or I don't even make reference to it at all. Because they'll hear about it in the meeting anyway. And I have had folks reach out and say, hey, is this a W-2 or 1099 position, like in a private chat? I'll respond to them in that way, but I don't usually put it in my job post.
So do you put anything? Because I normally put like independent contracting position.
Nope, I don't mention it at all.
Would mentioning a 1099 reference that it could be a pretty decent tax write-off for them? At the end of the year, they'd be able to really benefit from that.
I don't think a lot of people see it in that way. I mean, it's very true, but I don't think that most, I won't say most, but some of the folks that are on the job boards are looking for like base pay type positions. When they see 1099, it's almost like an immediate, in my experience anyway, it's almost like an immediate discount because they're looking for like guaranteed income, a lot of them. So when folks hear 1099, they could automatically assume it's MLM or it's not, valid or anything like that. So you don't want to
scare them off.
Right, exactly. So I don't make any mention at all to it being an independent contractor, a 1099, commission based. I don't have any of that in my job post at all.
Now, when we would post it, what information of ours do we put in for them to get in touch with it if they're interested and they want to respond? Do we put our name or phone number or email?
I have done our text message, like text agent to my phone number. And that's how I've gotten most of my prospects.
You can do that. You can also put your Calendly link. I always say that word wrong. That your Calendly link in there, so they can just click on the link and schedule themselves. That kind of leaves you out of it.
Okay.
So that way you're like describing it. Like I'll put like a very quick intro, maybe 3 or 4 sentences. Then I'll list the responsibilities. I'll list the perks. Melanie and Kristen post mine, so I can't remember how I used to post them when I was in LinkedIn. I think I used my Calendly link. I can't remember. But I know that it's usually just easier that way. But like I think it was Maria said, you can put your text whatever to this number for more information or whatever the case may be. You can be creative with it.
Okay.
What I do, which has worked a lot, is I don't have anything like that, because I don't think that's super professional or normal. So I just have them apply, whether that's on LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter or whatever I'm using. I have them apply like a normal applicant would, and then you just respond to the application with the Calendly link.
Okay.
Hmm.
You'll probably see a better follow through that way.
Okay.
What are some examples of being gender neutral in the job posting?
So like, you know how sometimes you'll be like, hey guys, or whatever.
Okay,
Like,
fine.
yeah, like you'll be
Okay.
like, hi everyone, or instead of using he or she, use they. Yeah, just
Okay.
inclusive language.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. I think that's all I have for you all this evening. Unless you have any other questions. Melanie, I don't know where the recording goes when it's done. Does it just go to you? How does that work? You there, Melanie?
Yes, but I was talking with it on mute.
Fair enough. It's been look, it's evening time now.
Okay. You have to shut down the meeting for Zoom to load it or process it. And then you can decide if you want it to go to your computer or iCloud.
Oh, okay. Oh, I think I did
So
pick
you can
computer.
log
Okay.
back into my Zoom to get it, or I can do it either way.
Okay. Well, if you don't have any questions, that's all I have for you all this evening. If you do have any questions if you think of something after we end, just feel free to reach out to me either on Facebook Messenger or on the Telegram chat. Happy to answer any questions that anyone may have. All right. All right. You all have a good evening.
Okay. Thank you, Zelpha.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Have a good night.